everyone, welcome to the second part of this video from Hanna Karlzon's Seasons book, also in Grains of Gold. Now we have done the witch. Now what I didn't do yesterday's video was to go around the edge of her skin with a white pen, which is actually something that I would normally do. So I am just going to do that before we crack on. So the Gellyroll 10. Now just all along the edge. Now it really just disappears that harsh black line, which I feel can be a little bit much. I'm going to leave that dot where her I tend to leave the lips, or else it looks a little bit strange, but that I tend to leave the dot in the nose because again that's quite a dark, could be quite a shadowy dark bit. I'm just going to do that, and it just softens everything a little bit. Still not sure what to do with her freckles. I think I'll just go over them a tad. Like that. And then the ear. Now with the ear, I don't actually want to get rid of the lines too much, so I'm just going to blot it off a bit with my fingers. It's a little bit paler. There we go. That's it. You can still see the black line. You can see it's been whited over, but I just want to dampen it down a bit. Right, let's move on. I want to do the sort of broomstick part to start with. I think it looks quite fun. So what I'm going to do is choose the colour for the, I think we'll go for a mid-colour wood. So I'm going to grab the nougat. What's that? I'm trying to find it. Here we go. I'm going to grab the nougat and I'm going to do all of the piece around. I'm going to start at this end just because if her pen's still wet I won't put my hand in it. And just go all the way around in the nougat really quite quickly. We've got a bit of a branch coming out here, which we can do. I'm going to do all the bits that lead to the leaves as well. So that should be okay. I'm just moving something on my desk. Just trying to keep in touch with my boys. I don't know, I've had radio silence from one of them for ages, and he said he was on his way to the station about an hour ago, so I don't know where he is. The other one is whinging that his maths is too easy. Not a whinge I would probably have, but anyway, the thing is he did A-level maths and you know, passed it, so it's just, I have saying, you know, some people won't have done it. It's like, but this is just so easy. Have a bit of patience. Anyways, we'll see. It might suddenly get harder. It's week 1. So I'm just going all the way around. Now this candle, I'm just being careful here. I don't want to colour over the candle in brown until I've decided what colour I'm going to do it. Even then I don't think I'm going to be colouring it brown or this dark. I'm sort of also keeping an eye on my other boy because he, yeah, as I say, he's vanished. His train gets in at leaves at 1:15, so it might be that he's run out of data and that there's no Wi-Fi at the station. Or it might be that he's hopped on a bus and there's no Wi-Fi, but I would have thought he would have told me. But anyway. He's a good lad. I'm sure it's all fine. It's just we worry about our children, don't we? I've got this. Oh, it's the other boy. Apparently his teacher firstly said that 1 wasn't a prime, was a prime number, and he's like, no it isn't, and she's saying for the sake of simplicity 1 is a prime number, and he's like, no. Oh dear. Right, this is just really basic bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reply to my son. There we go. I'm going to grab a walnut brown, nice and dark. I'm going to put that around the edge to just form a sort of darker part and blend it into the centre. The idea of that is just to try and make this look a little bit more rounded, because I'm very zoomed out so that you can see the whole page. It may not really show up. Also the colours are all quite dark anyway. Now under here I'm just going to put a slightly darker bit at the very bottom of this sort of branch, and then a bit under the cat as well, because there'll be some shadow. Our little cat looks quite cross, doesn't he? I wonder why he's cross. He might not look cross once I've coloured him. I find that it's quite interesting how, I'm just doing all this bottom bit. Is that a bit of candle? Is that a bit? There's a bit like that over there, so I think it's supposed to be wood. Now I'm going to go back along the top under the pumpkin. I find that sometimes when you colour things, faces or animals, once they're coloured they can look quite different expression wise to how they look when you start. I find it quite interesting. Some people can really change how something or someone looks, like dramatically, but I haven't quite got that level of, I'm just holding the page down, artistic sort of, you know, I can't, because I can't draw very well, I can't really do that. But my son's just said to me, "Where do you complain about lecturers? Because she's just wrong." Oh dear. I'll just message him. I told him we'll talk about it later. I don't think it's something we need to do on the spur of the moment. Right, so that is the edge of that. Now these leaves, obviously we're doing a Halloween themed picture, so I'm thinking autumn, so I'm going to go in straight away with the burnt ochre. We used it in our face actually, but now we're going to use it for our leaves. I think it gives a really warm autumnal feel, and I'm not necessarily going to layer it up much with other colours. Just get down some of this really pretty orangey brown colour, which I think really looks very autumnal. And yeah, it's, I'm looking forward to a bit more autumn colour. By the time the video comes out there might be a little bit more. I think it's a nice thing because even if people really dislike winter, autumn has this sort of beautiful leaves and a sort of lovely warmth about it with regards to the colour, which can be positive. And I hope, I mean today, I guess we're into autumn, we're nearly in October. It's been sunny all day, so you know it's lovely. For you know, some people really find it a little bit depressing when it's not sunny. I'm quite the opposite, to be honest. I find the sun, if it's hot sunshine, it's okay. When it's like this, it just drains my energy. Okay, we've got the ones over here to do. As I say, these are quite simple. I'm not sure if I want to make them any more detailed or not, really. I might just add another colour. I'm just trying to think really. So, yeah, my son's saying the PowerPoints are correct, but she's just not teaching from them. She's just making up rubbish. And I said we'd discuss it later, and he said thank you. So. I mean, we can find out a little more about her. It might be that she's not a permanent staff member, or that she's new, or something like that. Because I used to teach at that university myself, and I was taken on a temporary basis for about 6 weeks to teach a specific part of a module when the staff member was too busy, you know, so that might be what's going on, but I can't say for sure. Now I'm thinking we just need a little bit of extra something. I was thinking of putting a green in there, but it's not going to show up, and I'm wondering whether to put a bit of a brighter, darker reddish in there. So I'm going to grab this sanguine. It's a sort of orangey red, isn't it? And I'm just going to put it around the centre part of the leaf and then sort of fade it towards the edge of the petals. So layer it up near that sort of dark brown stick and then just fade it out. It's bright and warm. It's quite a contrast to our witch, who's all cold colours with her hat, but she's got warm colours in her hair. So. Now, what are we going to do next after this? We've got those pumpkins. I think we might do the pumpkins next because they've got to be a particular colour. Oh, I think my other son's messaged me. He's on the train. That's good news. I was just beginning to wonder what was happened to him. I had a silly thought in my head. Get rid of that. As my husband does, he tends to overthink and dramatise. That's exactly what I just did. I need to stop. Right, I'm going to grab a yellow. This is the yellow ochre, and I'm going to go over each of these leaves with this just to brighten them and to help those two colours blend together. And I think it will then be finished and we can move on to our pumpkins. And I haven't decided with the pumpkins where they're carved. You know, we can make them light inside as if there's a candle, and we do have a candle in the picture, so maybe that would make sense. Or we could make them black inside and then they look a bit more scary. But we don't need to make a scary picture. I mean, even if it's black inside, it's not going to look that scary. So I'm not sure. Have a think about that too. But I'll do these sort of orangey bits first because I know what I'm doing with those. So I'm hoping that this just covers over any bits that I've missed, warms and brightens up the leaves basically. And we're done. Right, pumpkin. I'm going to do the stalky bit first with my earth green yellowish. And just fill it in. Like that. And we'll do the same. On all of them. There we go. I'm I'm going to add a little bit of darker colour. I'm just trying to choose. Actually, my one colour that I would have used is next door. This is the permanent green olive. We'll use this one, it should be fine. I'm just going to use it a little bit towards the bottom, just to add in a bit of a shadow. Now I'm in the middle of doing a picture next door with these pencils, and the colour that I was using I left there. It's fine, it's only one pencil. Right, pumpkin. Where should we start? Let's start with the orange glaze and do the pumpkins all over with the orange glaze. I haven't thought about her dress either. Well, I sort of have, but we haven't done it, have we? Or maybe you have. Maybe you didn't wait for me. What colour did you do it? Let me know. I'm going to do it purple. I've already decided. Now try, if you can, to do a vertical movement with your pencil, because that is a sort of natural way the pumpkin would look. There might be some stripes of colour on it. So it sort of makes sense, really. And then when we add other colours, it will just work in with it. I've coloured so many pumpkins in the last couple of days. I think I'm probably going to want to finish Halloween colouring before Halloween even gets here. It's because it's quite limited. You know, you've got your pumpkins, your witches, your spiders, your bats. What else is there? Ghosts. Can't really colour in ghosts, they're white. You know. Whereas when it comes to things like Christmas, now there's so much you can colour for Christmas. I never get bored of Christmas colouring. So it's interesting. But I know some people prefer Halloween to Christmas. Of course, you've got, in America, you have quite a few holidays, don't you, all in a succession. So you have your Halloween, you have your Thanksgiving as well. We don't do that in the UK. I rather like the idea of giving thanks. You know, I think gratitude is becoming more of a thing now, isn't it? If you're doing these sort of positive thinking or well-being type people talking about how being grateful for what you've got is quite a big positive thing to do, and I like that. You know, it makes you just think about what you've got, you know, rather than dwelling on what you haven't got, or things that haven't happened the way you wanted them to, whatever it might be, you know. So I do rather like it. I'm not very good at doing it, remembering to do it. I mean, some people do it every day, you know, 3 things every day. Wow, you know, that you could easily, I could easily think of 3 things every day if I put my mind to it, but 3 different things every day, that might be trickier. Right, we're going to put some shape into our pumpkins with some darker colour. I'm wondering how dark to go. Should you terracotta? I think I will. It's going to go for terracotta. You have to believe me, it's rather cut off. And I'm just going to put it here along the side of the markings. It's not really very dark, is it? I don't know if it's really showing up as much as I'd hoped. I thought it was really daring. You can hardly see it. Never mind. We'll just have to work it through You can just do it on this one. They don't have to all be identical, it just doesn't show up. But forget about that idea. We'll use the burnt sienna instead. I think that'll work. That's better. And just following those lines. I usually put a little bit at the bottom as well. I'm doing a very bad job of not going into the mouth. You really shouldn't try not to colour into the mouth. And we want to be on the outside of this one, don't we? And this one. I'll do the same with this one. This one's much smaller, isn't it? Teeny tiny. Now I always struggle with working out what colour to do these bits where it's been sort of cut and we can see the edge. I'm sure they're usually white, but have I ever carved a pumpkin? Maybe once? Once? I think, oh yes, I remember, yes. Did a pumpkin carving activity with my kids at, somewhere. And so, you know, get the, open it up and put all the seeds out. Kids thought that was vile. Mother, come and do this. It's horrible. Thank you, darling. Cadmium orange. I think this is the dark 115. Yeah. And I'm going to just fill in each of these sections now. Making them a little bit dark on the edges and the top and the bottom. Yes, so I had to do that bit and remove all the sticky, icky, acky. And then started to carve it. Oh mum, it's too hard, the knife's not sharp enough, can you do it? Yeah, so I ended up carving it. I'm absolutely rubbish. As I say, the knife wasn't sharp because it was for kids. And it was just, ugh, rubbish. And we had to take them home, these sticky, horrible, icky-acky things. I wasn't a fan, can you guess? So, ugh. But anyway, no, not for me. But I know a lot of people, I like looking at carved pumpkins, that some people do the most absolutely stunningly amazing ones. I'm doing the same thing with this little one. And I just don't know how they do it. I guess probably start with a sharp knife. Helps. And then they've probably got a steady hand, which I don't. Some imagination. And yeah, anyway. Well, we don't put pumpkins outside our house because we don't do trick or treat, so it sounds a bit cruel, but in the UK we don't really do it. People don't do it. It's just not really a thing very much. Some people do it, some people have always done it, but in our way, no. I wasn't brought up doing it, so. My son just said, quote, teacher, this is not a math class, proceeds to teach a maths class. He makes me laugh so much. He's not trying to make me laugh. But anyway. Right, this is the cadmium orange, and I'm going to use it for those cut out bits here and here. I should be a lot closer, shouldn't I? I'm really sorry. There we go. I can't get much closer. Just move something out of the way. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the bits that I think are bits of pumpkin skin with this, and I hope it's going to work. Then I'm going to do the big gaps with a bright colour. This colour. I'm going to make it a bit yellowy. I was thinking of doing it sort of more orangey yellow, but I think, or it's going to look too much like the actual pumpkin. This is 108, which is dark cadmium yellow. I'm going to just get that filled in with the glow. I mean, they wouldn't really glow. The lids can't come off, so how'd you get a candle in? But hey, this is not a math class, so we're all right. Oh, poor boy. Right, well, I've got oranges and yellows out. We can do our candle flame. Now, the end of the flame is probably best in a sort of reddish colour. I'm just grabbing this one. This is 118. It is scarlet red. I'll show you, you'll see why I struggled in a minute. It's only this big. So I'll just do the tip like that, and then we'll take it into this dark cadmium orange. Sort of fading it as we go through. Then the cadmium orange. My camera just decided that it thought my hand was a face. When it detects faces, it focuses on them. And this is the dark cadmium yellow, but only if you've got a certain setting set, which I don't do. So there's our candle. We need some shine around it, which I'm going to do in a slightly lighter yellow. I think I used this one. This is 106, which is the light chrome yellow. It's quite small. I'm just going to fill that in. And there we go. Now the wick of the candle I'm going to do in black. Excuse me. Now, let's do her dress in the purple next, because I know what colour that's going to be. Purple. I'm going to use the purple violet to start it off. Okay, and just map out the whole of it in the purple violet, and then sort of see where we go from there. So this is going to be a fairly even layer. Just looking at the time, because my son will be coming in off the train and I haven't unlocked the door. He does have a key, but you know, they don't use it. They just expect you to have the door open for them. Maybe if I didn't have the door open all the time, they wouldn't expect it. Anyways. Now I don't know about down here, whether we're supposed to see her dress or outfit down there or not. I don't really know. Now, work it round her hair. And then we can sort of think about light and shade if we want to put in any light or darker areas. There's the edge of the dress there, look. Okay, now I am thinking along here there would be some shadow, so I'm going to grab the mauve. That's not the mauve though. I'm going to grab the mauve and just put some all the way along here where there would be, and sort of fade it out a bit. I'm also thinking this arm might not be flat. It might be a little bit darker around the edges. I'm not going to try and make it not quite as dark as that. And maybe it'd be a little bit shadowy here. Now I'm going to go back to the purple violet and go over the whole thing again to make it look a bit tidier. Give it a sharpen. And we'll just, yeah, make it look a bit neater around all these items. It's quite a nice colour, isn't it? It's weird, I don't use this one anything like as much as I use the mauve. I think I prefer the darker colour basically. Yeah, my son had been putting together a presentation, and his teacher seemed quite impressed, which was nice, of the sort of technical side of it, because the basic idea was to stand up, do a presentation in your group, everyone speak for a certain amount of time on a particular topic, and then film it and glue it together and send it off for marking. But he decided he did something a little bit different. His teacher liked his red. I decided we're going to go for a middle cadmium red. I always think this can sometimes look a bit like blood red, which I think is rather appropriate for a Halloween picture. So I'm going to make those bits there really intense, and then for each of these dribbles, what I tend to do for those is do them dark and then fade them a bit and then dark at the bottom so they look a bit shiny, because they're sort of like they're wet wax. It's always a bit tricky to know how to colour them. You could use lots of different shades of red if you want them to look like a big mixture of different sort of, where they're overlapping. Some bits might be wet, some bits might be dry, you know, but I'm keeping it just really simple. It's Friday afternoon recording this. I want some simplicity. The bits that are further behind I'm trying to do a bit darker, just by layering it up a little bit more. And there, we have a basic candle, and it looks like drippy blood maybe, if you've got that sort of imagination. We haven't done the end of our broom. I'm quite aware of that. We're going to do it now. What colour should we do? I'm thinking we'll do it in the Van Dyke brown. Let's use that. I'm not going to worry too much about sort of changing the colour of each bit of stick. I think they'd all be similar colour. Remember I had a next door neighbour who had a broom made of sticks. They've got a name, haven't they? Ooh, what's the name? Yeah. Don't know. And I don't really know how, they don't sell them anymore, so I'm assuming they're not very good. Oh, there's a train. I bet that's my son's train. Yeah. I want to say a bass broom, but that's a brand of, that's a really hard, normal type broom, not one of sticks. Oh, it'll come to me when I finish making the video, I'm sure. Now you might want to make some of the bits that are further back a bit darker, like this bit here, but I'm going to keep it quite straightforward. I'm going to maybe layer up those a little bit more, but not too much. I'm going to make that a bit darker. We've got our cat left after this to do. I'm thinking that it has to be black. A black cat, surely. It's a witch's cat. Is it a birch broom? They made of birch twigs. My brain's working overtime. Not really. Doesn't work very hard, my brain, I don't think. Does a crossword every week and that's about it. Right, there we go. Now this sort of twizzle I want to do in green gold. I'm just going to actually erase the bit where I went over the lines. There we go. I'll grab my green gold and just, I think the easiest thing to do is to make it darker there and lighter towards the middle so it looks a bit shiny and rounded. I'm also going to use this on the cat's pendant. Let's move in a bit, up a bit. There we go. I think I will make it here and here. Leave that centre bit empty. Right. I'm also going to do the ribbon on the pendant now. I'm actually going to use this red, the middle cadmium red again. I guess it's his collar really, but it's in case we overlap. It would make a lot more sense if I go over the lines and get some of the fur colour on the ribbon. That makes sense. I'm going to use this red. This was the one we used for the candle flame, 115. What was it? No, it's not 115. 118. Sorry, scarlet red for this bit here. Yeah, it makes much more sense if the fur overlaps that, because fur is, you know, messy and could overlap the collar. Now we could do the cat in the same way as we did the hair, but I'm not going to. This is cold grey 6. I'm going to just do a layer of cold grey first of all. Those bits there are usually a bit lighter, so I'm going to just colour them a little bit lighter. And under the eye it's quite nice to be a bit darker. Now think about the direction when you're colouring because of the fur. Now I also think inside the ear should be darker too. It's a very odd noise outside. And there we go. Little face. And then thinking about direction, which I forgot, up and down. Think about the way the fur grows. Hannah's given us some clues. I find it a bit tricky because it's across the back, but when it gets down to here it's downwards, so we have to sort of start adjusting the angle that we're colouring at. So here it's sort of starting to come round a bit. It's yeah, a little bit complicated, but not really. Now I know I said it's going to be a black cat and I'm using grey. The reason is because I want to put some darker patches on, and if I start with black I've got nowhere to go, you know. So grey will help us. Whoops, out of the line she goes. Very scruffy bit of colouring. There we we go. I'm going to go down to the tail. Is the tail in shot? Yes. Just help me with the direction, because I know what direction this is in. And it sort of needs to join into the body. So that's downwards too. And we sort of go round a bit. And do the leg. See what I mean? I get a little bit confused because this should be up and down. There. I can go across this bit. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my black and do some various bits and pieces, tidying up, shading, etc. So the ears, I think, are dark. The nose, very black. A bit darker under the eyes. A few strands around the edge. A bit under the chin so that it looks like the head is separate to the chin, and a little bit underneath the collar, where the collar would be creating a bit of a shadow. Then here, look, there'd be some shadow in here. And along there. Here too. I can just generally add a few strands. I think that's enough black, but having sat back, I actually disagreed with myself. I can put a bit more in. They're quite striking. Looking a bit more furry. Just checking my messages then. I'm sorry, I get so distracted. Right, now, we're almost there, I think. Let's come out and show you. But we need to think about, do we do a background inside the circle or a background outside the circle, or no background at all? I definitely want to do some sort of background. I'm wondering whether to have a go with my Pan Pastel silver. It's mica coated with titanium dioxide and iron oxide. I'm wondering whether to just put it around the edge and have a go. I haven't got my washable sponges, hence the rustling, so I'm going to use this one. Now, if you don't have a silver Pan Pastel, you could use oh, it's so shiny. You could use a grey, and you won't get this shine, obviously. Or if you want something really shiny, you could use a glitter pen. You could use a silver metallic pen. I'm not sure if I'm going to go inside the circle or just do the outside. It doesn't show up hugely because it's not really dark, but it's shining in my light, which I rather like. Getting it around the flowers is a bit tricky, but I will keep trying. Now we do have those little circles there which I'm aware of that I need to colour in, but I was thinking of doing a pen. I think I brought them through. Have I done the picture behind? Yeah, I'm getting a bit of funny colour at the top from the picture behind. I need to come out a bit more for you. That's my son, hang on. Oh, I am back. My son's just making himself a drink and making me one. So that's rather nice. I can't decide whether to go inside the circle or not. I'm just going to put a bit more on and have a think. It's very pale, this colour. I think maybe I should have put a bit of grey Mungio pastel underneath it or something. He's singing. But I shall see. Let's just keep going with this. I think I am going to leave it like that, but I'm going to just grab a pen, if I've got one. I don't have a silver pen, and I'll have to use a glitter pen. Trying to find it. There it is. This is number 700. It's just a plain glitter pen. I'm going to use it for these dots. I never know whether the dots are supposed to be magic or just from the candle, like light, or quite what. It doesn't apply very well on top of the pastel. Getting there. I think it's clogging the end of the pen. There we go. You could put it around there, but I think I'm going to leave it. There we go. Oh, our cat's eyes. We haven't done the cat's eyes. I'm thinking emerald, like we did for her. I just sharpen. Now, how do cat's eyes work? Is it going to be emerald all the way around the outside like that and then black in the middle? I think maybe it is. Just sharpen my black. It's the black. There he is. Okay, I'm just going to put the lid back on my pastel while I check, see what else I've missed, but I think I am done. I'm going to show you the iridescence of the pastel in the camera. Let's just remove the piece of paper, make it a bit easier for myself. If I tilt it, it really doesn't show up hardly at all. The pencil looks shinier. Hopefully you can see there's a bit of greyness there, but I don't know. Anyway, I am going to leave it there. I hope that was okay for you. I will probably do some more hair tutorials another time and show you a different way of doing hair. I am quite keen on doing it this way, but obviously it isn't the only way. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.